yeah, look at it. It's Friday, May 22nd, the beginning of Memorial Day weekend, and it's beautiful out. Isn't it amazing? Well, anyway, enough about the weather. That's not why you came here. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Depending on what time you're watching, all of those will fit some sort of mold for you. So hopefully everything is good with you guys. Hello and welcome to another class of Art Class with Herm. If you couldn't tell already, I'm Herm, the only one here in the room. And I'm a Brooklyn-based artist and illustrator, and I have a real love for baseball, and I really love to draw it. And my goal here is to teach you and nice love and respect for drawing baseball as well. So every episode, we're going to focus on a baseball-themed drawing, most likely involving the Mets, just like today, because you need to know your audience, kids. So if this is your first time here, welcome. This is actually our 18th episode, which is pretty wild if you think about it. Our class with Herm is old enough to vote now, which is pretty cool, and other 18-year-old things, which were so long ago in my lifetime. But if you're a completist like me, don't worry. You can catch all of our previous episodes by simply scrolling back on the social media platform that you're on, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, for example. Or if YouTube's more your thing, you can visit artclasswithherm.com, and that's automatically going to bring you to a playlist of all of our past 17 episodes, which is pretty cool. So if you're there too on YouTube, if you could do us a favor, make sure to like and subscribe and share along with friends and family who are big Mets fans or baseball fans or maybe have some tips and tips about drawing. Tips and tidbits. All that. Well, my coffee's kicking right now. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. But before we get started, I do want to say a big shout out to the Lincoln School in Fairview, New Jersey. I heard that Mr. Esposito is drawing with us today, which is cool. So everybody in the class, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're comfortable. And I hope you love drawing Mr. Met, because I do. And we're going to be doing a lot of that today. Awesome. So as we roll into that, let's talk about our last class. So in our last class, we drew the David Wright salute on his final game on September 29, 2018. It was a very sad moment for all of us, but that guy's the best. So we honored it the best way we could here in our class with him. So thanks to everyone that viewed and shared along your drawings with us. It was so awesome to see. So as we do in our other episodes, we like to, highlight 3 artists who we thought did a really great job. And we want to gift them a $10 gift card to the 7 Lines website where they can get something really cool. So this week, big shout outs to Isaac, Grace, and Miles. I really, really love these drawings. One thing I wanted to mention is this was like a tougher drawing, this David Wright salute. And that's because we did a lot of likeness in a way. We drew a nose and a mouth and stuff. So I want to thank everybody that sat along and drew with it. And you guys did an amazing job. Big shout outs to Miles too, who gave David Wright a mohawk. I thought that was really awesome. I love when people do that sort of thing. That's what's great about drawing. You can do anything you want on it. Cool. All right. So before we jump into our lesson for today, let's talk about what we're going to be needing. So supplies-wise, I always just use a standard 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I just pulled that right from my printer, nothing too crazy. And then crayons, pencils, markers, basically anything that you want to draw with. So if you really have like a knack for I really want to use colored pencils or painting and things, you can absolutely do that. And we're going to break it down in a way that we can do that for each other. Great. All right, so let's talk about what we're going to be drawing today. So if you guys can see right here, we've got a Memorial Day saluting our troops, Mr. Met, on there, which is cool. So for those of you that don't know, Memorial Day is not only just the unofficial start of summer. It is a day that we sit back and we honor the brave men and women who, gave the ultimate sacrifice by, serving their country and making sure that everyone's nice and safe for us back at home. So big shout outs to everybody that has ever served, or if you know anybody, that sort of thing. So make sure that you give them a hug and a kiss from yourself and from everyone else out there. Cool. So the best way we can honor is let's have Mr. Met doing a nice salute on there. So if you've never drawn before, or if you're like, oh man, I don't know, maybe the hand looks kind of tough and such, don't worry. I'm going to draw with you step by step, line by line, and I'll make it in a nice, easy, digestible way that we'll be able to draw a nice Mr. Met salute together. Sound good? Awesome. So let me oh my God, I forgot paper. I'll be right back. Ta-da! Look at that. Wow, that's what we call dead air, kids. Fun fact, I always practice with this like pinkish orangish paper that I had because I don't care about it. But I got the good stuff right here. Anyway, put that in the highlight reel. So here we go. So here we go. We got our paper right here. I got my brush pen. There it is. Oh my gosh. My brush pen right here that I always use, my crayons, and my delicious cup of coffee. Delicious. Okay, cool. So let's take a look real quick. So this is our goal for today. What's really cool about this is we're going to fill up the whole paper on here. So obviously we always talk about where we want to start our drawing and how we want it to end up. So in this case, you can do this anyway. Like you can totally do this vertically, which means up and down, but I'm going to draw mine horizontally, which is like side to side. So the longer end is on the bottom of the paper. And we'll do this just so we can really use it all up. So we want to plan it out. So you want to make sure you have enough room to have your hand in there, Mr. Met's giant head, cat, and so on and so forth. So we're going to start with the glove today. And I saw someone on Instagram joke that they're like, I bet you we're going to start drawing the thumb first. Buy a lottery ticket, my man, because that's what we're going to do first. Always want to start with the thing up front. All right. So like I said before, we want to plan it out. So I'm going to have my Mr. Met hand kind of out in this area right here. And then Mr. Met will be here. Now, if you mess up a little bit, like if you put your hand up here too much or down here, don't worry, because the background will be able to work that in no matter how you have your Mr. Met. Okay, cool. So you got your pencil or pen or brush pen in your hand? Great. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to draw a thumb. So what I'm going to do is it's going to kind of be like a bump, like a rectangle with a rounded edge. So I'm going to put my hand down right here. I'm going to make a line right about there. And I'm going to come up. And I'm going to stop with that little mark right there. So if you've watched along and drawn with us before, you'll know that this mark, this type of shape, this like, I think we've had different ways of saying it, like a letter S or a question mark start and stuff. This is a nice way to start most of the way that I draw on there, just because I like a little dance, like a little fluid to our drawing. So anyway, so this is going to be the inside part of Mr. Met's thumb. So now I'm just going to continue up here. And I'm going to bring this around like that. So now you can see we start to have like the bit of the thumb, right? So now I'm going to come over on this side and I'm just going to build my shape around on this way right here. So this line that I drew right here, if you guys look at your hand, you see that like muscle right here in your thumb? So this is just a bit of muscle here that you can see in your hand. I like to draw this when I'm drawing, and that is because otherwise, if we just drew like a circle here, it would totally work. But by adding a little bit of like detail for that part of the thumb, you're able to get a little more definition that it's a hand. Great, so that's like that part of the thumb right there. So now I'm gonna come around. I'm gonna start back here on the bottom. And I'm going to come around like this. And we're going to stop like right here. So you can kind of see we have like the letter E. Almost kind of fun, right? All right, so now you can see we have our thumb here. And this is like the palm of Mr. Met. Let's come around. And so I'm going to start to draw his fingers. So Mr. Met has 4 fingers on here. So we're going to draw 3 of them up here. So I'm going to continue up here. I'm going to make one line there. So that's 1 finger. I'm going to come in. So that there, this will be the 3rd finger. And then I'd make one more of these lines here. Now, remember when you're drawing your lines that we want to have the fingers like different shapes. So you see like this middle finger here, this one's a little higher than the other ones. Because if you look on your hand, your fingers kind of go up. You know, you see like how they go up in size a bit. So there we go. So there's our thumb and our 3 fingers. And almost done with our salute. So to add a little bit, I like to, just at the bottom, just add like that quick little line that just kind of cuts off the bottom parts of those lines there. So again, that's just like the fold in your hand. So if you look at your finger If you ever get bored and you don't have anything to draw, you can draw your hand. There's a lot you can do just by like shaping the fingers and stuff. You get all these different things you can draw. But you can see here, this is the main thing, just that line right there. You can see it makes it a little more interesting. Awesome. And then on the bottom, we're just going to add this like little curved line at the bottom there too. Now, what this line that we just drew, this little smile line down there, this is Mr. Met wears a glove, like most cartoon characters, you know, classic cartoons characters, Bugs Bunny, Mickey Mouse, that sort of thing. So this is like the part of the hand that like goes over their wrist. Great. All right, so that's our saluting hand right now. So we're going to jump away from this for a bit and let's draw Mr. Met. So in my final drawing here, you'll see that the reason we drew the hand first is this is the thing in front, you know, the highest part of our drawing in a way. So everything now is going to kind of like come behind this hand. So we're going to draw the hat and then our Mr. Met head there. All right. So what I want to do lay out first is let's get that hat in there. So his head's going to come out like kind of this area right there. So to start, I'm going to make this line right behind this hand, and I'm going to come down like this. So I made kind of like this little curved line. You see that right there? Very similar to this first line that we did right here. So this is going to be the beginning of the brim of his hat. So now I'm going to come around on this side, and I'm just going to kind of connect it. Something like that. So again, I just took that line, and I just threw another line on top of it to kind of make like the top part of that hat. Now, let's build the actual part of the hat that goes on the head. So I'm going to come in a little bit. See that little bump that I drew right there? See that bump? That's where I'm going to put my line. So I'm going to put a line like right there. And I'm just going to come up and make a big rainbow shape. Just like this. And roll down like that. So this little rainbow shape, or that horseshoe shape, however you want to go with it, this is going to be the top part of the hat. Then I'm going to put another one of those little bumps at the top. That's that button at the top of the hat there. Cool. All right. So now that we got that, let's go in and we're going to draw Mr. Met's head. So you can see in my drawing here, I love to draw Mr. Met with this giant head in there. And this drawing will be no different. So let me show you how to do that. So normally, Mr. Met's a baseball, right? So you can draw a big circle in here. I'm going to start to draw a circle, but then stop because I'm going to draw his shoulder right here and different parts of him that are going to like make the drawing a little more interesting. And let me show you what I mean. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to the bottom here, like to the thumb, and I'm going to start to draw a circle. So I'm going to come like this, but then I'm going to stop right there. So I'm going to stop right here because this is where I'm going to add my shoulder. So don't worry that if your baseball head is probably not going to be a perfect circle, but that's fine. This is going to be a more interesting drawing where it's going to be fun shapes. So now here I'm going to draw his shoulder. So to do that, I'm going to draw like a big horseshoe shape, kind of similar to the hat, but it may be a little longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down like right about here. And I'm just going to come up and I'm going to build this shape like right here. Something like that. So you can see right there. So I basically just came down like that, rolled up and made this kind of shape. So this is going to be a part of his shoulder. And then down here, I'll put another little line there. But I'm not connecting it all the way. I left a little space and came down and added a little bit more to that shoulder, to that sleeve. So I need another sip of that coffee there. All right, cool. So now that we have our sleeve in there, let's go in and let's connect the rest of his head in the rest of that circle shape. So I'm going to come like right here from the brim of the hat. I'll roll down like this. Kind of get that. Man, I love drawing, dude. How crazy is this? We had a blank piece of paper, and now we're starting to get a drawing on there, which is pretty cool if you think about it like that. All right. So now what we'll do is I'm just going to come over here to like about this part. So this is Mr. Met's head, his shoulder, and we're going to draw in like his chest right here. So I have Mr. Met, he's like saluting, you know, so his chest is really broad, it's up high. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it like kind of bulge out a little bit. So I'm gonna come down like right here, maybe about this part. You see that line that I put right there? And I am just going to have a curved line that comes down like this, all the way down to the bottom of my paper. So we have something like that. So you can see now, this is the saluting, the head, and the body. So now let's go and let's add this sleeve and this arm. So the sleeve, you can get really technical and detailed with this, but I'm just going to draw a quick line here just to represent the sleeve. So what that means is I'm going to come up just a little bit. So this is like the side of his body, right? I'm going to come up like right about here. You see that line that I just put, that little baby one? And I'm going to come down and I'm just going to have that curved line, and it's going to end up getting thinner. So it starts bolder at the top, then it rolls down curved and kind of thins out towards the bottom right there. So this is like his sleeve hanging up. Kind of cool, right? So let me just pull out my final drawing real quick. So when I'm drawing like, you know, like a fun cartoony Mr. Met kind of drawing on there, I like to make his arms really rubbery. You know, like imagine there's no bones here. He's just like, his arms are crazy, like outside of a car wash or something. So that's what we're going to draw in this case right here. So we're going to have his arm kind of sharply twisted around. So I'm going to start with the inside part of his arm. So I'm going to come like right about here. So when you do this part of his arm right now, you want to think about how his arm is going to fit into his sleeve, right? Like we can't have it like too wide, because like this is his hand and his arm's going to come down. We can't make it too thin, otherwise his hand would be too heavy. So you want to find a spot that's comfortable for you. So like right about this spot's good for me. And I'm just going to come down and I'm going to build in this kind of a curved line right there. So I just kind of made this like backwards letter J in a way, just like that. And then I'm going to come down over here and the same thing. I'm just going to come down and I'm going to build another little arm, a little curved line right there. There we go. So you can see, so now we have this like kind of a bent, like, so he's saluting like this, right? All right. So now that we've laid out Mr. Met, let's go in and let's add his face. It's my favorite thing to draw. Excuse me. All right. So the first thing we're going to draw here is we're going to draw Mr. Met's nose. So once we draw Mr. Met's nose, we can go in and add his eyes and his mouth and such. So for Mr. Met's nose, I like to draw his nose super big and fat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it right here, and I'm going to draw like a sideways horseshoe. Let me show you what I mean. So we'll come down like this, and I'm going to build in like this kind of shape right there. So I guess it's also, you could maybe like a letter C, like a really cool letter C if you're writing like a cursive or something like that. Or like a horseshoe, just kind of big like that. All right, so that's our Mr. Met nose. Let's go and let's add his mouth. So I like to make Mr. Met with a really big smile. So I'm going to come down right here, and now that's where I'm going to start. That's going to be the top part of his lip. You see that little dot I made? And I'm going to come down like this, and I'm going to make his smile really big. So this is like the top part of his mouth, and this is going to be like his smile line at the top. Now over here, I like to round out this shape here to kind of give it like a more interesting look rather than just like a line that stops. So I'm just going to kind of build this little bump. You see that right there? Whoops. That little bump right there. Oh, nope. That's his nose. There we go. That little bump right there. Just kind of round out that shape. All right. So now here, that's the top part of his mouth. I'm going to come in a little bit. I'm just going to add these two lines that come down like a little curved line right there. That's kind of like the side of his mouth. So I'm going to draw a similar shape that I drew at the top, but on the bottom. So I'm going to start with that curve. So you see like how I made that curve, like that other little, little horseshoe. So now I'm just going to roll down like this. And then come in like something like that. So Mr. May's got this great big smile, right? He's super excited to be saluting. So let's go and let's add his tongue. So his tongue is, you can draw it a couple ways. You can have like one shape like this, like the hat. But for me, I'm going to make mine like two shapes. So let me show you what I mean. So first, I'm going to have one like this, that little bump right there. Then I'm going to come in down a little bit, and I'm just going to continue with that shape. So you see that right there? Like that little, it looks like a bird. If you were to draw like a bird or like a McDonald's logo or something, you could throw that in. All right. And then I'm going to put one little line at the bottom there, just to kind of represent his bottom lip. This is that right there. And then I'm going to color this in with my black ink right there, just so you guys can see it easier on your TVs or mobile device, however you're watching this. Let us know how you guys are watching this. Which do you prefer? You guys watching this on YouTube later? Are you watching it live with us right now? You can throw that down there in the comments. So now we got our mouth and our lip and our tongue. I'm going to put one more line at the top right here. So this little line that I put right at the end of his mouth there, that's just to show that he's smiling real big. You know, he's like his cheek is pushing up. All right. So we're getting somewhere. You're starting to see Mr. Met, right? So now we're going to draw in his eyes. So when I draw Mr. Met, I like to draw a line that comes across, like right behind his nose, because his nose is sticking out. We want his eyes behind that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a line that comes in like this. Do you see that there? So there's a little line right there, and then it rolls around and comes in like this. This is like the bottom part of his eyes, or like, you know, right, they rest right on his cheeks. So we use a lot of horseshoe shapes in these drawings here. So we're gonna have two, one here for his eyes. So I'm gonna just come down here and I have one big Mr. Met eye, like right here. And then I'm gonna draw another one here. Now this one's gonna be behind his hand a little bit. So I'm gonna kind of like follow suit. So you see I drew that one horseshoe shape here for the eye. Then I moved over a little bit and I drew as much of that shape as I could fit, so while it doesn't go over his hand a bit. So Mr. Met's eye, so he's got two circles. So I'm going to have two circles. I'm going to put mine over here towards the left a bit. There's one. And I'll put another one here. And again, remember, it's like behind his nose and his hand there. So the circles are just going to kind of like follow suit. Then I'm going to draw in two more little circles in there. And this will be like his pupils. You guys see that? Now I'm going to fill that in with black, just so you guys can see it a bit better. So what I'm doing is I'm filling in the bigger circle and leaving the white of the paper for the smaller circle. This is a fun drawing technique. When you're using like ink, for example, it's always good, like if you can plan out where the white's going to be in the paper, you can draw around it and leave it there. I think it adds a lot more pop to it. So Mr. Met has these like eyelashes, right? So on the left, but they kind of come down. So it's like a teardrop. So a little raindrop right there. So we'll draw one right there. You see that shape? So it come down, and then I roll it down like that. I'm going to fill that in there just so you guys can see it better. Now there would be one here, but it's behind his hand, so I don't have to draw that. And then his eyebrows, they're kind of like this same shape, but a little bigger. So they're a little thinner at the end, and I come up and make them a bit fatter like that. So there's one. I'm going to color that in there. There we go. And then I'm going to draw another one here. And I know, sorry, I sound like a broken record. But again, you want to make sure that it's like hidden behind his hand here. So draw as much of it in as you can. So in this case, I'll kind of draw that in that kind of part right there. You see that there? Just a little bit, kind of sneaking out behind his hand. And I'll color that in so you can see it. Great. So on this part of his eye, just like I did with the mouth, I'm going to round that out with just a little bump shape. So again, what I did, if you can't see that there, I put my pen down, went down, and just kind of bumped it out to kind of make his eyes look a little more interesting. And then I'm just going to draw a quick little line underneath those two eyeballs right there. So you see that? Those quick little lines I put right underneath? And that's just to give a little fold, a little more definition. All right, so now we're getting somewhere with it. Let's add in the stitches in his head. So there's a lot of ways you can do this, but I like to make that same shape that we started with the thumb. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to draw one. Thumbs like this. There we go. So you see that shape right there? Very similar to the thumb, right? And now basically I'm going to draw heart shapes that are coming like down in a way. So let me show you what I mean. Like an upside down heart. So here's like one part of that heart and then another one. One part and then another one. So you see right there, it's like a heart. If it's easier for you, you could turn your paper upside down too. And you could draw a heart like this. There's one heart, one side of the heart, and then the other. One side, and then the other. This is one of the really fun things about drawing on like a real piece of paper rather than like a computer screen and stuff. You can just kind of flip around while you're drawing in order to make it easier for your hand. So that's kind of fun. So I'm just going to keep adding a couple more of those in right there. I'm just going to fill my way in. I like to leave a little bit of space in between each of the stitching here. Basically, it's like one of these stitches could fit in there just to give it a little more fun dynamic shape. And let's do the same thing over here, but it's going to kind of be opposite now. So I'll just draw a little bit of that shape again for the stitches. And my stitches here, these hearts, are going to go the opposite way now. So there's 1, 2, 3. Great. So let's see, what do we got here? All right, so we got our glove. Cool. So I'm going to draw right here. I'm just going to add a little fold in this hat to make it a little more hat-like in a way. So I'm going to come down like this. And I'm just going to add this like kind of like a curved line, like right there. So this would be the front of his hat, and this would be the back, right? Now, this is where you can get creative with it. So I'm going to draw the classic Mets uniform kind of look, where it's like the stripe. I'll show you actually. It's easier, right, than me explaining it. So I'm going to draw the Mets logo right here, and then I'm going to put in the pinstripes at the end, and then like the classic Met logo here. But if you guys wanted to have fun, if you wanted to put like an American flag here, or a barbecue, or I mean a hot dog, anything cool that you think would be fun, this is your drawing. Make it fun. But if you want to draw like me, I'm just going to draw the New York logo. Now, basically, it's just like an N with a Y in it. So I make mine a bubble letter. This is years of practice for this one kind of thing. So if you want to follow along on there, I'm just going to kind of go a little bit faster on this because we could spend like 20 minutes just talking about how to draw this kind of thing in there. But once I add it in, you'll be able to see that it's like the letter N and the letter Y for New York. So you can kind of fit that in. Let me give it a little quicker thing. So you can see right there, I do this because I'm drawing with ink. There's like that bit of the shape, but I kind of did those bubble letters on there. So if you're on your computer or YouTube or something, you can pause it right now and you can copy that for a minute. Let me pause. Cool. Got it. There's that. So now I'm going to write Mets down here. But before I do that, I'm going to draw in like where his jersey is. So his baseball jersey, it folds up, right? So there's going to be like one part here and then one part here. So like here, I'm just going to have this like kind of curved line, really light. That's going to come through because it's in the background, right? And then I'm going to kind of have another thing like right about here. And that's just, I'll color this in later with a crayon. But this would be where the fold is, where he would button up. All right. So now I'm going to write Mets right here. Now, this would be cool. You can do this a lot of ways. If you wanted to do the black jersey that everyone's been talking about, excuse me, you can write America here. You can write your name. Or maybe you want to honor somebody. You could write their name on there. This is one of the really great things about art and drawing in general. You don't have to make it look exactly like something. Like if you're drawing like, I don't know, a baseball or a teapot or something, it doesn't have to look exactly like it. Don't worry about stressing. Just have fun. Fill it out, you know? You just kind of, right now, I'm drawing this like heavenly glow, I like to say. And what that means is I'm just tracing lightly for like an outside shape of this logo to make it a little bit more fun when we draw later. But yeah, you just have fun drawing. You know, there's no right or wrong way to do it, as long as you're having fun. And if you're drawing and you're in the middle of it, you're like, I hate it. Put it away and start over again. Paper is super cheap. You can always draw more ones. All right. So we got Mr. Met here. He's saluting, right? So now what we're going to do is I'm going to draw in the flag here. So I know this isn't a perfect representation, which goes back to what I was saying before. So we just want to give the idea of the flag, right? So I'm just going to have a couple of stars here and then a couple of stripes in there. So if you want to draw all 50 stars and 13 stripes and such, that'd be great. I'm not going to do that. Otherwise, you guys would get crazy. I don't want to pull out the ruler and everything. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my square here. That's going to be where our stars are, and then our stripes in the back. So I'm going to kind of lean this right here so you guys can see that. See that right there? So what I'm going to do is up like right about here. Let me draw in where I'm going to have the stars. So I'm just going to lay out that box right there. This is where we'll put our stars. Now here in the background, I want mine to look like, I want to have a red at the top and a red at the bottom. So if I make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these rectangles here, I'll be able to achieve that. So I'll just kind of line that up like with this, you could see. So there's that. So I'm going to have one like about here. I'm sorry. That's one. Sorry, I got my paper out of the way. So that's one. Then the second one I'm going to align up kind of with this line here. So that'd be like right about here, right? So that's 2. And then one here. That's 3. And again, remember, the flag is behind Mr. Met. So you just want to stop where the line is. So 1, 2, 3. This will be 4 and 5. So you can see, so this will be red, white, red, white, red. Awesome. Now that we have that, up here, I'm just going to draw a couple of stars in there. I don't know, have you guys ever drawn a star before? There's a lot of different ways you can draw a star. Let me pull out a separate sheet of paper real quick. So there's a bunch of ways you can draw a star. I like to draw a star where it's like points. So there's like one point like this, then like that. Then basically I'm just making those like sort of triangles there. You see that? So this is the kind of star that I like to draw. And that's what I'm going to be drawing in our stars and stripes there. But some people like to draw like this. You could have like, my big fat hand's going to kind of come in the way for a second. So you see like that star, like that's one if you're doing one really quick. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. But that is not the one I wanted. This is it. My goodness, you guys are seeing me in rare form. Everything is all over the place today. All right, so again, those, oops, sorry. So for here, I'm gonna draw the star. Let me reach around there. So I'm gonna have like one star here, and you can put in as many as you want. But I'm gonna make 3 rows of 3. And I'm gonna have mine a little off kilter a little bit, like they're slightly tilted, just to give it a more fun look. But that's just the way that I think my drawing would help my drawing out a bunch. Sorry, I got the camera right in front of me, so my arm is over it. So if my lines are a little weird, you'll see why. But this is fun. You guys having a good time? Yeah, oh my goodness, me too. Look at us, a couple of friends drawing on this beautiful day, enjoying the beautiful sun. Now in here, don't worry. Like I said before, my stars are a little wild in there, but that's because I was reaching weird. But don't worry, you can make yours however you want. So I'm excited to see how everyone's turns out here. So there we go. For all intensive purposes, you have just drawn Mr. Met saluting all the soldiers, right? Pretty great, right? So let's color it in. So my palette is pretty simple for this one. I'm just going to be using blue, orange, and red for this. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to color in Mr. Met here first. Now this is what I'm using here. Back to what I was saying before, this is where you can have a lot of fun with it. You can have whatever colored jersey you want. You can draw in his, I don't know, anything, different colors. If you want to use pinks and browns and greens and stuff, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. I think that'll make it more fun for you. For me, I think the blue and orange combination is the perfect complement. It's a little art joke there. But I like that, so I'm going to stick with that there. So I'm just going to color in this Heavenly Glow orange. So this is great. 18 episodes. We've met a lot of people. I see people in the comments. We get the same crew. So it's really awesome and amazing that we'll have people that tune in every week. to sit down and draw with us. It means the world to me. And I hope that you guys enjoy it as much as I enjoy drawing with you. But let us know where you're drawing from. One of my favorite things to ask. We have people from all over. Oh, man, where are we going? We have, Philadelphia, LA. I think we've seen somebody in Utah, which is cool. Obviously, we got the tri-state lockdown. New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. We got the Lincoln School. How you guys doing over there, Mr. Esposito's class? You guys having fun? Yeah. Oh, man, look at me. I'm answering for you. That's how sure I am of your excitement. But thanks for tuning in, guys. I think it's cool. And I believe it's your last day of class today, right? So congratulations to all the graduates. Congratulations to just another year of school. Wow. How insane were the last couple of months? So you guys will let me know. How did you enjoy learning remotely, like learning over Zoom or like those FaceTime conferences and stuff? Was that cool for you? Man, it must have been pretty interesting.
Hey, Herm.
But that's cool. Yeah.
Do you have a window open today?
Do I? Yeah, I do.
You know what's crazy? I can hear birds chirping.
Can you really?
And if that's not a sign of summer, I don't know what else is. I think it'd be funny if you did a class one day outdoors somehow. I don't know how we would do it. You'd have to have very strong internet, but that would be great to hear the sounds of summer in the background.
Heck yeah. I'll tell you what, with my unlimited data plan, I'll be able to handle that.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Come at me, AT&T.
Or when things start going again, how about a live art class with Herm at a baseball game?
Gosh, don't get me excited. I'm going to explode. There's going to be freckles everywhere. Sounds amazing.
At the game, you'd have to set something up, and people at home could be drawing along with you from the stands. How about that?
God, that'd be really cool. Oh my God,
that'd be a very long stream. But we can pull it off.
That sounds great to me. That's one of those you sit down, you have lunch with us, you draw, you come back, we're still drawing.
It's one of those things sounds like almost we're having a meeting, but it's live and everyone gets to hear
it. Yeah. I'll tell you what, one thing you'll always get with our class with Herm is excitement. Look at that. Learning how the wheels turn.
All right. Sorry to interrupt.
So, never an interruption, Darren. Thanks for popping in, man. Darren, ladies and gentlemen. So you can see I kind of got my blues in there. I'm just going to keep going in. So I'm going to make my stitches right here. And my blue crayon is gone. So I'm just drawing lightly in here so you guys don't have to just see me coloring all day. But yeah, congratulations to all the graduates out there. How are you guys celebrating your graduation? So I'm in Bay Ridge, so people have been honking their horns, which is pretty cool. The first time they did it, I was like, man, somebody is really upset. That's some crazy road rage. But no, it's a cool way to be able to, salute everybody. So now, again, I'm going to have my red up here at the top and then red up here at the bottom. So red, white, red, white, red. So I'll just kind of fill that in there. But along those lines too, we have our international drawing club too. We have people out in Japan and Italy. And I guess that's the only ones I can think of. Anybody else? Anybody else drawing from another part of the world? That's pretty cool. Just sit back and think about how awesome that is. You woke up, you're having class, you had your breakfast. Now we're sitting here drawing Mr. Met with people all over the world in different time zones. I think that's pretty cool. And let us know what you want to draw too in the comments there. So if there's something you've been itching to draw, let us know. Certain player or an event. I like to draw events, a certain time in Mets history or in baseball history. So if you have any ideas for that, let me know. All right. So I'm going to call it quits on my drawing right now. So feel free. Take as much time as you want with this. You can color it and make it as amazing as you want. And I can't wait to see it. But when you're all done, like me, I like to sign my drawing. So there's lots of different ways you can sign it. I like to sign in the bottom right here. I'm just going to sign my name down there. And I like to have a fun little signature. I have the 2 exclamation points that are smiling. And then we'll have today's date is May 22nd. Now, one of the really cool things about signing and dating your drawing is twofold. One is that no one steals your drawing. They're like, wow, that's cool. Look what I did. You liar. I did that. Take ownership of your amazing work. And it's really cool to date your drawing too, because if you keep drawing and keep having fun and getting on this fun drawing adventure here, you can see how much better you've progressed overall. Because drawing is like exercise. The more you practice, the more you draw, the more stronger you'll get overall on there. So can't wait to see your drawings on there. And with that note, let's share them. I can't wait to see how great they turned out. So here's some different ways you can get in contact with all of us. So if you want to share your drawing, make sure to tag me on Instagram at Herman. This is the #1 way to get me. I have an Instagram fit. I can't get over it. I love it so much. So if you want to hit me up there, that's the best. If Twitter's more your thing, make sure to tag me at Herm's Terms, and I'll always repost and make comments and that sort of thing. And don't forget to tag the 7 line too. So make sure to tag me in the 7 line. We'll be able to share it out and make comments and stuff. Now, maybe you don't have social media, or maybe you're a little shy about your drawing. You're still working on it. If you want to email it to me, that'd be great. You can find my email at herm@hermsterms.com. So just send me a little note in your message there, and I'm happy to tag that along with you. And if you want to see some more of my work, that's not just Mr. Met drawing, you can go to my website at hermsterms.com. I got a little web store on there, some booklets and prints, and you can see some of my other illustration work and such on there. So awesome, guys. I can't tell you how much I love you. It's amazing every week to be able to do this with you. So just a little update on the class. Now that summer is unofficially starting there, and people are going to be, busy planning, cleaning, things like that, we're going to drop our class down to once a week. So we're going to be doing this the same time every Wednesday on there. But not to worry, we'll still be able to draw with each other all the time. We'll just have some cooler drawings, right? So next week is actually the 4th or 5th anniversary of the infamous 50 Cent first pitch, which I love so much. It's probably my favorite Mets history moment. So we'll be drawing 50 Cent making that pitch. I cannot wait. Make sure to tune in. It's going to be amazing. But anyway, spoiler alert. Have a wonderful day, guys. Have an amazing weekend. Hug your friends and family. If socially distanced, air hugs. And you guys are great. You're going to do amazing things overall. Congratulations to all the graduates. Lincoln School, have a great summer. I hope you guys can tune in with us more, and hopefully one day we'll be drawn from Citi Field sooner rather than later. Be good, be excellent, and I'll see you guys soon, all right? Bye.